Has it ever happened with you that you have lost a major portion of your scene and now you have to reshoot everything again? Welcome. How are you guys? I hope all of you are in Mazama and I am snehakashyapthakur, your host and the girl next door. क्योंकि यहाँ हम बातें करते हैं दिल से दिल तक. As you all know, our podcast is a platform where we share stories and celebrate life. So here today, I'm here with another exciting guest. I know. मैं हर बार यही कहती हूँ कि एक another exciting guest है, but है भाई, मैं झूठ कैसे बोल सकती हूँ कि exciting नहीं है. She's as inspiring, as exciting as anyone before, and her name is नहीं. उनका नाम बताने से पहले I think I'm gonna tell you a few things about her. She is on the board of WIFT, Women in Film and Television Industry. She is also a founder, a director, a producer and an actor, and she is the founder of Banskota Productions. अभी तक मुझे लगता है कि कुछ लोगों को पता चल गया होगा, but a little bit more. She is also the co-founder of Nepal American Film Society, and she is the founder of Nepal American Film Festival, which is an international film festival. अब हम आपको मिलवाने वाले हैं कीर्तना बनस्कोटा से. Hi Keertana.
Thank you.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
And that, by the way, I feel like I should just get you for my PR because that's the best introduction I've ever received. That's really cool. Thank you.
But agar podcast करते somebody gets a job, I would be.
This is great. This is great PR.
I'm just learning. If you offered me a job, Keertana, I would be so happy to follow you. So Keertana's production house,
Yes.
has got another star kitty
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Sure. So we have a bunch of things happening continuously right now. One, I'm co-producing with a lot of other production houses, mainly either women run or any kind of, I hate the word minority and diverse, but that's what it is at this point. And all our stories are kind of based on that. So currently, let's talk about the releases. We've had Premonition, which is not a part of my production house, but I was co-director in it. It's out on Prime, Tubi, Peacock. I don't think it's available internationally, but maybe, I'm not sure yet. I think it might be because I know a couple of people have watched Premonition on Prime, so maybe it's available on
I've
Prime
heard a
India.
lot of noise about it though.
I mean, it is pretty scary. I think so.
7.8 IMDb rating. That's crazy.
It's kind of cool, but the best part about that is that we filmed in 8 days.
Oh, wow.
In Texas, in the
8
middle
days.
of June and COVID.
In the middle of June and COVID, and that also a full feature
Full
film.
feature.
Oh my God. What do you eat?
I'm vegan, so that actually helps a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I think I've got like plant power in me all the
Okay.
time. I hydrate a lot.
All the
Things-
vegan listeners would be like, yay, vegan power.
I'm telling you, there's something that's this energy that does not stop. I can't stop. But also, and I think summer is just my filming time. We just finished filming Love from Ellie, which is another co-production with Chantel, who is from Lady Alchemist. It's a concept for another feature. I'm on set for another 2 features next week. So there's a lot. And then I'm completing one of my shorts. We just had a premiere for my other short, which is a gay story, like love story that goes a little sideways. But yeah, I mean, I'm blessed.
Yes, that's amazing. You know what? As I was telling you, behind the scenes, like when we were talking, that I lost a lot of my scenes, and you have been directing and producing and editing and acting in a lot of movies. Has it ever happened with you that you have lost a major portion of your scene and now you have to reshoot everything again?
Yes, Premonition. So the 8 days really are 7 days of shoot. So what happened,
Wow.
everything was wrapped. On the 7th day, we had our like really major scenes. Because, the 8th day, we're like, it's going to be quieter, it's going to be cooler. So I'd scheduled everything to be very heavy on the 7th day. Our actors kept crying till the very end. There's a lot going on. It was emotionally highly distressing. And then the 8th day, we're pretty chill. Things are going fine. Everything's cool. And then we find out that our DIT somehow lost all our footage from the previous day. So now I'm having to make our actors go through exactly the same thing. And once, it takes a lot for an actor to get to a space which is so emotional. Acting, yes, it might be in my personal experience as an actor, I call it therapy for me. But unless you have to get to that space, when you have have to get to that extremely emotional corner, it's tough to come out of it. And
Absolutely.
you're forcing yourself to be in that, right? And then now I'm asking them to do it again and do it faster, and you don't have enough time to prep. So, and then one of the actors was wrapped. So I'm calling the actor and saying, hey, do you mind coming back? So I'm begging and pleading people here. And it's like, and then plus we're union, so you can't go beyond a certain hour without, the costs doubling. So then we're like, okay, I'm talking to the producer saying, do you mind biting the bullet here and just saying it's okay? Luckily, it was the producer's film itself. And unluckily, that was a huge dent in the budget because that then you have to pull out from post-production.
From somewhere, yeah.
And then now you have to go back looking for more. And that had to get done. It was done. It's out now, but I get it. Like when you lose it, it's just, I'm a fix-it person. So the minute I see something's wrong, my eyes just light up and I was like, great chaos, commotion, let's do this.
Oh, yes.
Fix it.
So you are a problem solver.
I'm a problem solver. I'll go looking for problems to solve also. I'm not gonna lie.
And my first reaction to anything like that is that, oh my God, how do I go about asking people to do it all over again?
Or just call me. It's easy. It's easy to tell people.
So for me, it was so daunting that I messaged everybody at 1 in the night. I was awake whole night trying to figure out if I can recover it. But then I emptied my entire trash. So there was no way I could recover it.
That's impossible.
It was really, really troublesome. But then you take another deep breath and then you realize, okay, maybe.
It's a conversation.
Yeah. So I can totally imagine the kind of chaos you might be in when you had lost a day of shoot.
And it's hot, right? It's like we're
hot,
in,
plus
it's
you're working
June,
under a budget.
And everyone's sweaty, and there's, makeup artists that needs to do blood and gore, and then there's, clothes that had not been washed because we'd used that clothes, and she had scrapes all over. The actors are exhausted because it's 7 days nonstop filming, or 6 days nonstop filming for a couple of them. And then it's just, there's so much. So to ask them at that moment
to do it again,
it is a little daunting because you're also looking, but then I was looking at my director, I was looking at my producers, I'm looking at my actor, and I'm just thinking, we've already spent so much time in this. This needs to get done. I only have a split second to make that decision. So I'm just looking at them. I'm like, okay, do I sit here and just complain or do I just fix it?
Fix it, yeah.
And at that moment, I'm like, okay, you can bring anything on. And oh my God, it was so hot and there were wasps everywhere. There was a lot. There was a lot happening. And it was such a learning experience for me as well, to learn about myself and to learn about how if you ask nicely and politely, people are willing to go that extra mile for you.
Yes, a lot of people.
Oh God, yes.
A lot of people.
I mean, even the crew, right? The crew works so hard. I mean, the actors are actors, but then you're making the crew members do exactly the same thing. You're having to re-put the lights, and these are lights that they're heavy. We've got these massive towering poles that have to get redone again. And you're asking a lot from the crew, but they came through, and every single person came through, and everyone's very proud of it, I hope.
No, I'm pretty sure everybody would be, because, creating a feature film from scratch is a huge, huge, huge thing.
Yeah.
There are so many people involved. There are so many dreams involved.
Okay.
What has now that when you see that, your film is getting such good reviews and it's being featured on so many different platforms, what do you think about that day now?
I mean, I look back at it and I just say, it was a hiccup, it's not a big deal. But also, like you said, right, a film is everyone's dream. I mean, the funny part is the person that always gets the most credit is a director and actor. But the producers work really, really, really hard, because from the get-go, once the writer submits it, it's the producers that find all these crew members that have to go find the funding, that have to go through. I mean, granted, this was an in-house, but even then, that's a lot for one person. And then you look at every department, like the director has to work with the director of photography, who's, in charge of camera. There's so much pre-production where you're looking at every single scene and then breaking it down into a shot, and then looking at the mood and thinking about where the lights will be, then figuring out exactly who the great light person is going to come on board, and then looking at what kind of sound you want. During production, the 7 days, the 8 days, usually 21 days normally, is the quickest and the best and the fastest. Everything else before and after is the chaos. At that time, that's the fun part. That's really the fun part.
I think I'm going to take you a few years back now.
Okay.
And I'm going to take you to a time when all of this started. You come from a Nepali background. Am I right?
Yeah.
And I know pretty much very well that she adores her background and she's so proud of her cultural representation that she started 2 different foundations, like an international film festival and a film association to bring up the Nepali culture in America is in itself a very, very big thing. You have that kind kind of perseverance and persistence to be there and build something like this. But where did it all start? How did Kirtana Banskota, to be precise, how did she landed in this field?
I am, in a weird way, very, very blessed. I always say that. I'm like, when I think about privileges, I think I'm one of the most privileged human being on earth. So growing up, I was very encouraged about being in theater, being in part of just doing whatever I wanted to do. My dad was all about that. You know, my grandfather, despite that he was a laureate, also was in politics. Like, first Nepali film was under his like timeline as the communications director. So I guess it's in my blood in a weird way but weird, funny enough, a family of 56, 57 of us, I'm the only one who actually got into the film industry because the fact that, you know, I was lucky enough to go to the best of schools, the best family that raised me, and I was never denied to follow my dreams. My dad always said, you know, I don't care if you come first in class. I just want you to be good at what you do. Just be the best and, well, at least try your best.
So are you born and brought up here?
So I was born here, but then I've been brought up in Nepal and in India. So I
Oh,
went to
wow.
boarding school in India.
Oh, really?
So I went to Nainital.
Oh, wow.
So I'm an all-CI,
Oh.
where all of us are devils. Just kidding. None of us are saints.
Yes, it is.
Yes, very much indeed. But I think that when I was in school too, like in boarding school, that was my focus. Was I didn't really care to get, you know, the 90, 100% in like ICSC, like all the other girls were probably focusing on.
Yeah.
To me, I wanted to just get every single lead part in theater. And I wanted to be the games captain. So I wanted to be like the captain in every single sport. So I was just that girl. And then when I wanted to go to college for film and media arts at Temple, my parents didn't deny me that. So I think with privilege comes responsibilities. So the minute I saw that, I was like, wait, I'm a Nepali. I'm allowed to do that. Why can't others be allowed to do that? And I
Right.
say allow in such a loose term because it was encouraged for me.
And it's not encouraged for a
No, no, no.
lot of men and women, but
Yes.
primarily women.
Oh yeah, and they're like, oh, you want to go to school, but why don't you do like a minority or minor
Yeah.
in this, right?
Yeah.
Which, and now I find, you know, fast forward now, today I find myself talking to a lot of parents and asking parents these questions because if their daughters and if their sons want to go to film school or media school, would they be denied that? Because at the end of the day, AI is taking over everything, but not creativity because that comes from here.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know, I think that has always kind of helped me. So that's my past that now comes to my present pretty significantly.
Do you think that when you were growing up, creativity was something which was, so everybody has this right and left brain.
Yeah.
And did you feel it even in your early years that your left brain was more active than your right one?
I think so, but also was simultaneously, I mean, you know, I was that kid that I think every South Asian kid that can somehow move is told, oi, go dance. And then you have to sing for yourself.
Our parents have embarrassed us all the time.
Where you're like singing your own song and you're dancing. I was
Every
like,
party.
every party.
And if you have a sibling, you both have to do
Oh,
it.
but luckily my brother never danced. He has like 2 left feet.
Okay.
But I was like trained in Kathak and then later on in ballroom. So to me, everyone's like, oh, this one can dance. Just make her dance. Like it's really a staple. I don't mind it. I actually
Enjoy
no,
it.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I like think about my past, like me singing Govinda songs and dancing. Ridiculous.
Oh my God.
By
Govinda's-
myself, by the way. Okay? There's no one else singing it.
Which was your favorite song when you danced?
I think it's like always, it was, oh my God. Oh, some of my friends know this, so this is going to be funny. It was like, I would be like so naked in that song.
Oh God, I can't tell you, Kirtana. When I was a kid, I would dance on Sona Kitna Sona Hai.
And it's like all of
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Yes.
And then I don't know like how much you spend time in Nepal,
Yeah.
like during your vacations. But we would go to vacation to our nani's place and dadi's place, and it was a village.
Oh yeah, ours was like that too. So for me, it was before boarding school. So it was younger. And so I'd be in Kathmandu, and then from Kathmandu, we'd go to Puraina, which is my farmhouse village. And I grew up with animals, so all the time. So there it would be, and they were all Tarunis, right? So they would get, like, we had an entire tribe in like southern or West Nepal area. And they would usually say Batinya to younger girls. So they would be like, Batinya, naach ke dikhao. And this Batinya would be like dancing. And like,
Have you ever danced below a mango tree and mangoes have fallen? People have considered that, oh my God, you danced. That's why the mangoes have fallen.
no. But when I've danced, it has rained.
Oh, so me, Kirtana Banskota, she's the dancing dancer
I
of
am not dancing. But then it just became so exciting. They're like, oh my God, it's raining. I was
Yeah.
like, then I think even
Tumhari
in the
wajah
future-
se barish
Barish
aayi.
ho gayi. I was like, thank you. I know, like, I think all my life, you know, that's when I say privilege, I don't just mean my family, my parents. It's like tiny little things like this happen and people encourage you. So it just strokes your ego for no rhyme or reason to
Yeah.
become a film
Filmmaker.
person. And,
Yes,
we're
yes.
known to be egotistical in our own
No, I
views.
think this is so great that you are recognizing these things and you understand that this is in me and I'm loving it. And having, like, we always talk about how important support is, and the fact that you got that support from your family
Yeah.
is another, you get that one step.
Yeah.
वो कहते हैं ना सीढ़ियाँ होती
Oh,
हैं.
it's like the best push to even today, like in date, like I talk to my dad almost every day. If I don't talk to him for 24 hours, I get emotional blackmail saying, yeah, I know it's like, this is life, now
अब बच्चे बड़े हो गए.
you live your own life. You've done this. Ab hamara kya hai?
क्या?
And I get it. I understand. But sometimes it's also very funny. And I probably will use it in a script someday in my life. I'm not going to lie. Because you get that support, you also always look for the right community and you never falter. I mean, everyone had issues left and right. We've had ups and downs, but I've always had really, really good support, be it from my friends, be it from like now women in film and television, the Austin film communities. I mean, my now community, that's a part of my festival, just the bigger Nepali community, the bigger, idea, bigger like anyone else here itself. There's something that you create
Right.
because you're so used to being a part of that niche group that always supports you, that you also want to be there for other people. And I think that's just been kind of easy for me in a weird way. I'm like, I don't have to go looking for it because everyone's there. They've always been there. They're just, all you have to say is, I need help. And I think that's the biggest issue that all of us always have, is to just ask for help. And I am shameless. I will ask for help for no rhyme. I'm like, I need help. Please, someone help me. And you'll have a million people who are ready to help.
Yeah, and I think I don't have that in me. Like,
To
I'm
ask for help.
I'm very hesitant to ask for help.
I learned that later.
Okay,
But
okay.
it'll come. I promise.
Okay, it will come.
Yes, now that you're doing this, because you're letting go, right? So there's...
Yeah.
Was this something that you've always wanted to do? Like, what made you...
Always.
And then
I
what
think-
made you jump?
I don't know. Like, I always enjoyed having conversation with people. Like, I always did. And I just thought that, why am I not doing this? Like, why am I not trying it? And I was in idea, we are engaging and empowering South Asian women. So whenever I would talk to somebody would share something and I would be like, whoa, this is very inspiring. This is very exciting. Nobody knows about it. And the person would talk it like, अरे ठीक है, मतलब ऐसा भी कुछ बड़ा नहीं है. And for me it was a big thing कि अरे तूने मेरे को 5 सेकंड के अंदर मेरा पूरा पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज कर दिया. Imagine if this goes out to public, it is gonna make so much difference. 10 लोग भी अगर देख रहे हैं इस पॉडकास्ट को, उनमें से अगर एक का भी माइंडसेट आपकी स्टोरी की वजह से, if it has changed.
I mean, that's the thing, right? One story changes the entire trajectory of everything.
Yeah, so I always wanted to be in media. I always loved mass comm and, talking to people and interviewing them and, peeling off those layers of onion and understanding what is gone beneath these things. But just like you, I did not had the privilege of doing that because I come from a very small city in Bihar and my parents' focus was, I come from a lower middle class family. Like, I grew up from a lower middle class family. So in our city, one thing which is constantly fed into your brain is engineer, doctor, MBA, IAS.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking IAS the most because it's Bihar. So
नहीं IAS तो है ही, लेकिन वहाँ पहुँचने के लिए आपको पहले ये like I used to write a lot.
Yeah.
Like I would write articles and stories and poems and those would get featured in the local newspaper and in my school books and everything. But my parents always told me, you take it as hobby, but that's not mainstream. So बचपन में मैं न्यूज़पेपर आता था घर में ना, तो इंग्लिश और हिंदी न्यूज़पेपर आता था, मैं बैठ के I would act as a news anchor and I would read it just like a news anchor. मतलब I would rectify it.
I get it.
पूरा रट के और मैं बिल्कुल ऐसे सामने देख के मैं अपनी बहनों को बिठा देती थी और मैं उनको कहती थी कि अब सुनो, मैं तुम्हें न्यूज़ पढ़ के सुनाती हूँ. तो इतना ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट था, बट वो कहीं ना कहीं सप्रेस हो गया. लेकिन
But when you have a
in-
hunger,
हाँ.
if it's in your blood, like it's like if it's in your cell, it's not gonna go away. It's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
spark,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it has to
I
just
love
need to be
stage.
sparked. Oh God, I thrive. It's hilarious when someone goes, "What are you gonna say?" I'm like, "It's the stage. You just take a microphone and you just talk."
yes I love stage. I mean, do I have stage fear? Yes, I do. First podcast में जब मैं welcome करी थी, I was like 25 बार मेरे से गलतियां हुई है.
Which is great.
Yeah.
You need to make those mistakes,
yes,
right?
and then you rehearse and
Yeah.
then you make it better and better. And I think right now also there would be certain things which I need to make better, but I'm growing. I'm learning it. I can see it that this
And
is
that's
what-
life. That's
Yeah,
the best. That's the
life.
beauty about it.
Yeah.
you know?
So you can understand it pretty much what I'm trying trying to say. Ki
Yeah.
A lot of time you want to do something. I never wanted to become an actor. Like I knew that I don't want to become an
You
actor.
wanted to be a news anchor.
Yeah, or a VJ.
Uh-huh.
That was something which I enjoyed. I loved talking to people. I
Yeah.
loved bringing their self in front of the camera.
So what made you just say, okay, this is it. I have to do it. Like,
So
there's no more excuse.
It did not happen that way. It did not happen that way. That this is it. And by the way, I am the one who is going to be telling you. But this is the fun part. Of
I
it,
know.
right? So it did not happen that way. The way it happened was that we wanted to start story sharing thing on Idea as part of Idea. Like we wanted to give women the platform to
Yeah.
come and talk about
I
themselves.
remember that, like, because when I first met you, like, we had a couple of folks doing the, yeah.
So we had that. And then I thought I just tweaked it a little to make it in a form of a podcast. Because now, you're not talking among some 5-6 women. You're
Exactly.
talking to the world. And
Yeah.
when you're talking, even if you're camera shy, you don't even realize that there is a camera.
No, you really don't. I mean, I'm not camera shy, but also, yeah, it's because this is a conversation.
Yes.
Like,
So-
you barely look at the camera. Even if
Yes.
you're
Anytime somebody tells me, like, I don't think I'm comfortable in front of camera, I tell them that you leave that upon me.
Yeah.
How I have to make you comfortable.
Yeah.
Like some people are comfortable. Like you are a natural actor and, this comes to you naturally. But a lot of people are not.
Oh,
and
no,
I
yeah.
try to tell
even
them.
just this, like the lights are. I think more than the camera, it's the lights that are very intimidating for a lot of
Yes.
people, and also the fact that the microphone's right in your face, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You do realize that there's so much happening.
Yes.
And yeah, and all you have to do is just focus on you and you're
And talk
good.
to me.
Yeah,
I have such a pretty face.
you do, and you're just like this like pleasant giggle too, which is like
Yes, I enjoy it. And everybody who has come on the show till now, they say that they can feel it. I think I enjoy the energy of just talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Whatever you were discussing and you were sharing from your life experiences, imagine just acknowledging the fact that I am privileged.
Yeah.
How many people do that? Not a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about nepotism.
Yeah.
We talk about outsiders. We talk about skills.
Yeah.
But if people start accepting the fact that I am privileged,
Yeah.
because my generations have worked,
Yeah.
and they have given me this platform to be here, nobody will talk about nepotism.
Yeah.
We are talking about it because people are saying that, oh no, I have had the same kind of struggle as you have had. No,
And-
that's not true.
No, and also like it's just opening the doors, right? For example, like if I was probably planning to get into United Nations or maybe like becoming a doctor, then my nepotism will be so easy. I would just like barge right in.
Yeah.
But the privilege for me was the fact that I got the foundation that was denied to a lot of other folks.
Yeah.
But also simultaneously, I got the support that has really been denied by parents. Also, I completely understand that, my dad also went to the best of he went to university here, he worked here, and my uncles did the same thing too. But not everyone has that. And not
Yeah.
everyone understands that just being a doctor or being an engineer is enough.
Yes.
But yet you go and pay $11 to watch a movie per ticket
per ticket.
and you enjoy it.
And you enjoy
So
it.
why would you deny someone to go do that? And that's a conversation that I have with parents all the time.
So a lot of time parents have this mindset, and I
Yeah.
want you to answer that.
Yeah.
That a doctor's career or an engineer's career or an IS career, it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
You go and have a 4 years degree, you work hard, and you'll get a job, and you'll have a set amount of salary that would keep coming in. I don't have to worry about you when you are in your adult age.
Yeah.
But a career in media, TV,
Or the arts in
or the
general.
arts side or the creativity side,
Yeah.
it becomes stable unless and until you are pretty good at it.
Yeah.
If you are a mediocre person, you will not thrive.
No, you won't thrive. And also you might, but also the question is what is thriving, right? Because if you're for a lot of directors, for example, if you're an independent filmmaker and you just want to make independent films that are low budget, that actually have some kind of meaning behind it, that is creating some kind of social impact, that is doing some kind of educational reform, that might be their calling. And that's where they are thriving. And to them, that is success. And that is it. Compared to a big budget Hollywood blockbuster director who's just doing it because they just are doing it.
And you see, as an artist, you can understand that.
Yeah.
But your parents will not. For them,
Yeah.
success is how much money are you making?
I agree.
They don't care whether you're making an independent film or a big Hollywood or a Bollywood
Yeah.
commercial film. if you are not on every paper, and when I
Yeah.
say paper, I mean newspaper,
Yeah.
and if you are not on the Vogue and the Cosmopolitan, if you're not there,
Then you're not
then
made
you have
it.
not made it.
Yeah.
A lot of parents
Which
think
is
like
also
that.
in a weird way very true, right? Because I think this industry is so glamorized that, say, for example, do you ever hear about a badass scriptwriter? No one
No,
does.
nobody
But guess
does.
what? Without a script, there's no movie.
Yeah, without a script, there is no movie.
Yeah.
Without a DOP, there is no
No
movie.
movie. No one here talks about art direction.
Yeah.
Or even just a clapper, right? The person
Right.
who just comes and claps and just script supervision. Without them, the movie falls apart because the editor can't really edit in terms of sequencing because it can be all over the place.
Yeah.
So no one really hears about that. But there are some DPs, like without Martin Scorsese's DP, Martin wouldn't work, right? His films wouldn't be that great.
Yeah.
None of the Marvel films would be the way they are.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the photography person or
Yeah.
the cinematographer or the somebody who has actually written the story. Like,
Yeah.
forget about the screenplay. The conception of a story, when it comes, you don't even hear about the, who wrote the story.
Yeah.
Majorly, people know about who are acting in the movie,
Directing.
those faces,
Yeah.
and directing and producing.
Producing was used to, unless you're really, really big or you have
Yeah.
some kind, but you still not hear about producers either. So if I ask you, some big budget name like film, and I say who was the producer behind it, we all go blank, including myself.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I'm a big Bollywood fan.
Yeah.
So I definitely know like Karan Johar's,
Yeah.
production house, and Yash Raj Films production house, and then Ronnie Screwwala production
Yeah.
house, because they have made some really impactful movies who have left a mark
And
on.
they've created houses, right? I think
Yes.
that's also the difference.
Yes.
I think in the industry, when you talk about producers, there's like 9 different kinds of producers.
Oh wow,
right?
talk about that.
So
Please.
when you have an executive producer, and also the language differs between America versus India. So
Or the South Asian.
South Asian community. When you're looking at EP, which is an executive producer, here it's money. Like they bring in the monetary, they bring in the funds, they bring in anything that can help kickstart things, or they provide it. So when you're looking at the production house, like say now Karan Johar to Kill, I haven't really deep into his background, but he probably is the main person who is the EP behind it, who's really making the film's budget happen.
Okay.
And then you have the producers, like
I don't know, like a lot of time you'll see a lot of people I meet, they are not very hug friendly.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Which is
I
fine.
mean, yeah.
If you don't want to hug, you can do namaste too.
Namaste
I don't
or a
like
handshake.
To me, I don't know why. There's something about
Handshakes.
shaking hands. Even pre-COVID, because sometimes when you're like shaking hands, people's hands are very
Sweaty.
like Texas specifically. It's very like I don't know. There's something, and I don't know. It's something that I'm just going.
And for me, handshakes are like makes me feel more formal.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm handshaking, immediately in my mind, I'm looking at that person and I'm thinking, is he or she shaking hands?
Or just like doing this.
Yeah,
Even
or
though,
doing
like,
this, or are they keeping their hand on top? Because there are multiple,
yes.
body readings you can do
Oh,
with that.
yes.
And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, because somebody's gonna read my body language and tell me that, okay, you are.
Oh God! I've also started realizing just doing this. I was like, "What's up?" It's becoming a whole thing now.
Yeah, but I still
prefer hugs.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's hugs or
please
don't
please
shake
don't
my
shake.
hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've also do a lot of elbow. I think this like whole COVID
Yeah, this
thing,
is also
it's cool.
Yeah, this
I
is
like
also
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going with the flow and adapting to the new
Yeah.
Gen Z's things.
I mean, and now it's Gen Alpha thing too.
Oh, the new generation has become Zen Alpha.
Yeah, the new generation is an Alpha.
Oh,
now.
after
It's
Z is.
the A.
Oh my God, I think I'm getting old.
Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. I promise you, you're not. Because a lot of Gen Zers are older than we are in many ways.
Oh, really? I really want to meet some of them.
I
because
think they're
everybody
much
around-
wiser, but also I think it's a generation, and because I have a couple of interns that it's like they're a lot more adept and a lot more, but simultaneously they're a lot more influenced by everything. There's so much information being fed to them. So you also see like a lot of mental health issues that are coming through in this generation, where I think we were in a generation that was like, wait, what? What happened? Oh, that doesn't matter. Like, what's a helmet. Like,
I
skin
know-
your knees. What? It doesn't matter.
I think it also has to do with the things in what era are you born.
Yeah.
Like even in millennials, you'll
Oh,
see
yeah.
people who were born like early on in millennials, they are pretty stable
Yeah.
and have people who are born on the edge of millennial
And Gen Z. Yeah.
They tend to lose a little bit.
Yeah.
Same goes with baby boomers and millennials.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like
that's
that is
just a
that,
generational
that
thing.
edge thing always
Yeah.
hampers. But going back again, so you said crew is important.
Yeah.
Minimum 11 people. There is a pre-production, production, and post-production, and that's how a film comes to life.
Well, and then you also have distribution that a lot of people really forget about, and always it's an afterthought, right? Because distribution is the sale of the film. Because we don't make it to put it on the shelf here, right? I hope not.
Absolutely.
But one of the biggest mistakes that I've also made, that a lot of independent filmmakers make, is that we don't start talking about distribution before the film is also made. So
you
you're
have to do that before the film is made?
It's usually the best action because you're starting to talk, you're getting people excited about the script. That also helps you get sometimes a better cast, get sometimes a better crew, get sometimes, when I say better, I mean seasoned. You know that there's a budget already, you know there's a future for your film. So it helps producers relax quite a bit too. We're in the process for The World's Happiest Man, which is like the first Nepali union film that is based here. You know, we got to direct Bruce Dern, which was incredible. Also, some really named Nepali actors were brought here, from Haridai to like Haribansa Acharya to Daya Hangrai, which are these like big names in Nepal, which is really, really cool. And currently, as post-production is happening, as producers, we're looking for distribution and we're talking about sales and we're finding all this other information that needs to go, because you're like, it also helps in like the festival circuit because there's also that bit. And so, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts and producers are there just overseeing everything. And losing, you know, hair by the minute.
Yeah.
I think I have enough hair to lose by the minute.
And
What are my other
Oh my
co-producers?
No, you have beautiful hair.
Thank you.
And when you walked in, I was like, oh my God, look at her, how nice curls you have.
Thank you.
I always dreamt of these curls and I have never had it. So I try to, do it most of the time. Komalika.
So you're just like one curl. There's just like the side on the side.
Do you know the Komalika thing?
Well, yeah, I go, but you have to say Nika.
Oh.
When you're, okay. Listen, I grew up in a household that watched all that
yeah.
nonsense film. Like, okay, I'm not talking
It-
ill about it, but
If
God,
you
that was
ask,
bad television.
I'm telling you,
But she was pretty cool though.
I talked to one of the creative directors
Yeah.
recently, and she worked with Ekta Kapoor.
Yeah.
So I talked to her and I asked her that, how did you make, such vampy daily soaps? Like,
Yeah.
it did not make sense. Like, do you guys also laugh behind the scene when
Yeah,
you
they're
did
like
something-
falling and then they die and then they
Okay.
come alive
I-
and then I'm like, how many people?
And she told me this is what the Indian audience wanted to see that time.
Oh, that's so sad.
And it is true, actually.
Yeah, I mean, think about when we grew up. Like, I remember my mom watching when I was like really, really young, watching shows like Tara. Like, actually, there were women empowerment shows, and that was changing
The
and
dynamics of the
like,
television industry
And
by
all of a
bringing
sudden,
this-
these vamps come like around, and they're like trying to kill each other.
Yes,
they're like
and
jealous
so
because of a man.
The
I'm like,
culture we were growing in,
Yeah.
that time, prioritizing your own self was not considered very good thing. Like, if you are a good bahu, good beti, good female,
Yeah.
you will prioritize others over
Yeah.
yourself. This has changed recently.
Yeah, but
अब हम-
but soap operas in India is still very. I feel like they've become worse now.
I think.
There's like independent feature like that are OTT, and then there's like the soapies.
Oh man.
And then I'm just going, wait, this makes no sense. I tried. I'm like tried because I
in
like
one
to watch.
of the soap operas.
I'm like just getting so comfortable here.
I'm telling you, in one of the soap operas, I saw that the lead actress is talking to a spider and she is telling the spider to control a soul. I'm like, bloody hell, what the are you showing? Like, why would you show something
This is
like
not
this?
even
Like,
Spider-Man. Like, and then the
has-
spider
it has-
controls it.
yeah, and it has a TRP and it's going on, and it's there are some daily soaps in which you are seeing a very different love
I'm
angle.
in the wrong city right now, man. I swear. I should just like use all because I get all these random lucid dreams, and I think it's always been there since I was a kid. I wonder if I should just move to India and just like make stories about like little, instead of a spider, maybe use an ant.
And
you know?
yeah, you can.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you do that, you'll have a great audience there, and you'll grow famous. you are famous, you will
I'm not
grow
famous.
probably more famous.
No, thank you. I'm okay being in my
Yeah, I
own
think there is a segment of India and the entire world which
Yeah.
is loving the real content. Like show things which is believable.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like binge watched the last season of Mirzapur, like just one sitting.
Yeah.
Just finished it all.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's believable.
Yeah,
right?
and because you come from Nepal, and I am a big fan of Manisha Koirala.
Yes.
A lot of us are.
Yeah.
And she presents Nepal in her stature and in
Yeah.
her body language. And her Hira Mandi
Oh gosh, yeah.
it was magnanimous.
She was incredible. Like
She
just
was
looking at
incredible.
her, it gives you so much just joy. Because and
Yes.
also, I think that's being in a place at the right time is also very important, right?
Yeah.
Because I think when Manisha first came to the industry with even films like, Leave Aside Bombay, even a little later, like with Kamoshi, she wasn't accepted the way everyone else was accepted.
Yeah.
Because
And she was
different.
bold for her time.
Oh, she was very,
She
yeah.
was very bold for her time.
Yeah.
And I think
That's just, I think,
she
Nepali blood.
I like that. And,
Yeah.
the fact that she came across as a bold young
Yeah.
actress.
Who didn't take any nonsense from anyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that's why, probably she did not had a career which shooted like a lot
Yeah.
of her actresses of her time.
Yeah.
But I
It
think
was
she
like-
did some,
Proper, yeah.
yeah, she did some amazing, incredible roles.
And also for her example, she always had a very supportive family. Manisha's family has been very supportive. Like, I think she was born in Banaras. She's from like a political family.
Yeah.
Her grandfather and my grandfather have worked together. So it's
Oh,
like,
really?
like way back when they were both, I guess.
Dude, you are already a film star. Like, I thought that you are just my friend, but
Oh,
that's
I am
not-
your friend, like first. Okay, I'm not a film star, but I'm just saying, I think that helps, right?
Yeah.
Because she's always had such a supportive family.
Yeah.
And you've always heard that about her.
Yeah.
Even when she talks right now, when she's communicating about what she's gone through, the way she presents herself. Now you take Prabal Gurung at the same time and what he's doing in like the fashion world, dressing up like the first ladies, dressing up the Hollywood elites and the Bollywood elites. Like he also has a very supportive family. And I think that's something that at least when and I'm not going to say everyone has that and not everyone does come from the same privilege, but I think those are things that we have accepted that this is who we are. And it helps to take that leap further.
Yeah.
Pull other people with you.
Pull other
Yeah.
people, yes. So now I'm going to touch upon the Nepali culture and representation of Nepali culture in the film and media
I mean,
industry.
I'm wearing this. Like, this is a Nepali designer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Her name is Nilima. It's like a tiger that's Nepal. And then these are little Dhaka prints. So, and I'm wearing the earrings from Nepal. I think all my rings are from Nepal. Definitely bred in Nepal.
I'm so sorry, India. I am not wearing anything from India right now.
I find like, designer things that are done by women designers usually that are independent designers. And I try to find Nepali designers recently a lot.
Tell me, how much is Nepal ingrained in you, especially not as you as Keertana, but Keertana as a producer and actor and director?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. I think I wouldn't say, I think what happens are like those tiny little quirks that, you're taught, right? So before we started, I was talking to you about Jugaad.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a very Jugaadu producer.
Yes.
I look at a thing and I look at a budget and I was look at it and say, we can cut corners here, we can cut here, we can cut here. This makes no sense. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, and you gave me some jugaad for my studio as well. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Because when you do that, I think those are things that you learn growing from your family itself. And this is not something that is taught in film school or
Yeah.
the world teaches you. This is something you just kind of learn.
Yeah.
You see an empty jar, you put pickle in the jar. Achar. Pickle and achar are very separate things.
Yeah, please,
And I've
guys,
become-
pickle and achar are really very
I've
simple.
become very specific nowadays, saying it is achar, it's not pickle.
I saw an Instagram reel about that and I was like, dude, this needs to get viral.
Seriously,
And people
achar is
should-
achar.
Achar is achar.
And
It's
pickle
not
is
pickle.
pickle. Pickle
Huh.
is great.
Huh.
I like pickle
Yes.
when I need hydration.
No offense to pickle.
I like pickle. I need hydration. It's great. But achar is achar. Right? It takes a lot of time to make
I
the
like
damn
that.
achar.
I need hydration.
So, you learn all of those things. I don't remember ever getting sugar cookies. They were needle and thread box.
Huh.
Remember those like little Yardley sugar cookies, like the blue tin ka dabba that my
Ha
grandma...
bilkul.
That was a needle and thread, and it was always a disappointment because they were always new, but when you open it, they smell like cookies.
Cookies.
And then that's probably why I didn't ever have a sweet tooth, because every time I came home, they were always gone.
Yeah, you go in any south. I don't know
Yeah.
about your household right now,
Yeah.
but if you go down and you open my fridge, you find a ice cream ka dabba, you open it, there will be peas in it.
Oh, that I don't know. I think I became a little involved in that. Wait, I was like, because I need like marks. I like labels. So I will put labels. I mean, I'm married to a
उसके
white
ऊपर
guy.
पीस लिखा हुआ है
लिखा हुआ है
हाँ,
peas.
अंदर ऊपर आइसक्रीम का मस्त अल्फोंसो का पिक्चर है अंदर आप खोलोगे
Oh my God, that is every time you're like, because I get right before my period, I get like sugar rush.
Yeah.
If I ever have to open that, I would be so sad. अरे यार, नहीं, please नहीं
नहीं
चाहिए
चाहिए
था.
तो जुगाड़ जुगाड़
is-
हमारे खून में है
खून में है, होना चाहिए. And I
हाँ.
think it's very important for a producer, right?
हाँ.
The other also thing is Nepali women are insanely resilient. You look at you go to the mountains, you go to the valleys, you go anywhere, you find these women with dokos on, like the big basket on, carrying all these things. They're taking care of their children. I mean, yes, they might not be doing a 9 to 5 job, at least, and in the villages and the mountains, but what they're doing is all the physical labor.
Oh, I would add to that. I think that it's not just a Nepali thing. I think it's a
whole South Asian-
Pahari thing.
It's a Pahari thing,
हाँ,
right?
like
But
you-
also flatlands.
Like a rural thing, basically.
Rural thing.
Yeah. Like the more you go in the rural areas, you'll see that women are like headstrong.
Oh, yeah. But also then you bring it to the city, right? The moms are the ones that wake up in the morning, even 9 to 5ers. They wake up, they feed their children, they take them to school, they go to work, they come back, they make dinner for the family. If they have in-laws that they're living with, they're taking care of the in-laws. Hey, yaar, aap to kuch kar hi nahi raha. Like, I mean, I was lucky that my parents were pretty divide and conquer, but my mom did a lot for us.
Yeah.
And then they said, go to boarding school.
Oh
like,
God.
too much of you.
Uncle
Go boarding
auntie,
school.
आप ये podcast please मत देखना.
Oh, they're used to this. I was like, you shipped me off to boarding school when I was 12.
Yeah.
But it was also, we had a civil rights issue.
ये तुम्हारा उनको
मेरा
blackmail-
emotional अत्याचार है.
हाँ. मतलब when dad would say कि अच्छा तूने फोन नहीं किया आपने भी तो boarding school भेजा था
Exactly.
मुझे.
You bheja. I mean, there are times because my brother is a conflict resolutionist. So he works he's in Ukraine right now. Before that, he was in Syria. So he's in his own, we're polar apart in terms of what
Oh
we do.
my God, media, creativity and conflict resolution.
So we're
Oh, wow.
So sometimes my parents are always like, oh my God, I think we overeducated my children because they're doing some crazy thing. And, and then the normal South Asian thing. It's like shadi, bacha, this and that.
हम इस पे आएंगे. लेकिन आप पहले
I ticked the shadi box.
बच्चे का बॉक्स अभी है ना?
अभी नहीं है.
वो आएगा मतलब क्योंकि
But I think now we've reached a point where my parents have given up asking. They're like, she's not going to answer, she's going to divert. I do a very producer move.
मेरे माँ बाप तो मेरे से बात करना बंद कर देते हैं हर 2 हफ्ते में कहते हैं तुमसे बात नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि you are not having a baby. I'm like,
But
how
I need
is
to.
that?
But what's I'm like, can I just? Do you want me to give you a baby? I can adopt and just give you a baby. Like, can we do that?
They want someone who looks like me. How is that possible? Maybe the baby looks like completely like my husband. Then what?
Yes.
Then you'll not love him or her?
Maybe. That's a good question, by the way. But I think that's where, what were we talking about?
We were talking about the Nepali tradition.
So I
and
think
culture.
that happens quite a bit where the resilience comes in. I think also just loving nature. It's, to me, my sets, I want people to be able to breathe. I want people to be able to enjoy. I know sometimes it's tough and we move, and some of my crew members, if they're watching this, might say, oh my God, she's very strict on set, but I try not to be. There's no place yelling or screaming or fighting on my set. Like if that's there, you're out. Like I don't have patience for that. And I think that way Nepalis are also pretty docile. I'm not in any shape or form. I get that. But at least on set, I try to be a lot more chill. And that, I think it's also ingrained in me. And then the fact that, taking a break, learning how to breathe into every set, learning how to give everyone breaks, feeding people. Good God, please feed your crew and your cast. When I say feed, I don't mean just pizza. I also mean like knowing what people's dietary restrictions are. I mean, we do live in a world, I'm vegan. I'm difficult for a lot of people to feed. But if my sets, if I'm able to make sure that someone who's gluten-free is fed gluten-free food or any other allergies are taken in consideration. And if we're unable to do that, then we're also saying, hey, do you mind doing that for yourself? I will compensate you. I think that also is very important. So that also comes to Nepal.
You have to count in all the budgeting around that.
Oh, yeah.
How diverse and, how diversified your crew is right now.
Okay, so think about, so I work with various different crews all the time, but say for my last shoot, we had 22 crew members and 4 talents. Out of 22, we had a lot of vegetarian, vegan. We had a couple of gluten-free, and then we had others that were okay eating meat, but we were filming outside. So if we're filming outdoors, I'm not bringing in meat because you have to have that kind of consideration. It's like we're filming at like, almost 100 degrees. Meat goes bad no matter how quick you're bringing out food. And I don't want to do bread because we have 3 gluten-free members, because then that just makes my life more difficult. So then you just do bowls for everyone, like vegetarian or do vegan bowls. And then if anyone has anything, then you do things on the side, like you bring queso on the side or whatever. I personally, for my films that I'm directing, I'm personally producing from Banskota Productions, I try to make it a very sustainable vegan set because that is important to me. I want it to be sustainable. I don't like water bottles lying around. That's also another thing that we do, is that we make sure every water bottle is marked. Half-drank water bottles is such a peeve. It like drives me insane.
Oh, yes.
And I'm always like,
absolutely.
where's my PA? Why isn't this marked? Why isn't the name up here? And I think that happens a lot in film, quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I think that also is becoming, those are things that I try to incorporate with everyone that I'm working with too. So if we can get cups, I hopefully for our next budget can get personalized water bottles for everyone so they can carry their own, and they're just get big, tubs of water so that people can just reuse their own bottles.
So right now, are you producing and directing and acting in primarily Nepali films, or you're doing all kind of genres?
I've only done one Nepali film so
Okay.
far. So it's like Bhutan, which is The World's Happiest Man, being the feature. That's the only one I've like assistant directed and produced.
Okay.
And then I've done a couple of shorts, like Ghar Aau, which was Come Home, and then a really short doc, which was remotely done from here while the director of photography was filming in Nepal. But other than that, I've not worked in Nepali films. I'd like to. There are a couple of scripts that I personally am working on. And my first Nepali film that I personally will ever make would be an animation, and it's won a development award already for the idea for it. So before I'm even writing the script, I'm starting the pitching for it, since it's animation and it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, and I can't do it alone, and I need a co-director for it who knows animation well. So we're also talking to a lot of people, and it's about this young girl in the mountains in Nepal, and it's called Maya and the Himalaya, and it's not called Himalayas, which drives me again. Nepali, it's like Himalaya. It's just like saying, when people say momos, I'm like, it's just momo. It's just Himalaya, like fish and deer. So it's
It's not karma, it's karma. It's not dharma, it's dharma.
I know. It's like karma, guys. So I think,
But I think this is a very much American thing, or maybe, the Western thing.
Yeah.
The linguistic diction
yeah.
we follow this side is very different from what we are taught in India or in
yeah.
the South Asian
Yeah.
region. For example, Banskota. Like
Yeah.
I would read it as Banskota.
In
But
English, but it's actually Ba Akar Chandrabind.
So then it should
actually
be
becomes
BAA.
Banskota. So it becomes Banskota, really, technically in Nepali.
In Hindi, if you write it in Hindi,
Bas.
then it's
That's-
Banskota.
exactly.
So when you translate it into English, then it should be BAA.
I know. So so my grandfather is the one. So we were like, the way he started writing. So then there's also Baskota, where under the ba, they only do bas without the Chandrabindu. And we do with the Chandrabindu.
So without the Chandra Bindu, it would be BAAS.
Yeah, just bas.
But with the Chandra Bindu, it
Yeah.
would be BAANS.
But
And
then
that's
how
why
do you spell B-A-N?
I'll say buns.
No, just to say B-A-N. I'm going to...
Bun.
No, not B-U-N, B-A-N. I'm going to put a ban on things, right?
Oh. English is a funny language.
See?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Like
Yeah, I
can, you
get
say
it.
can.
Yeah.
So that's where the Banskota
Yeah,
comes into.
can and- oh, yeah,
Ban. So
yeah.
that's where the Banskota comes into.
Yeah.
But also that's something that when I went to boarding school for the first time, that's something that I experienced quite a bit, because in Nepali, it's Keertana because it's a rasoikar. Because we do Kirtan.
Kirtan.
And then
Yeah.
in India, it's Keertan. So every single time I'd be in school, people would be like, Kirtana Banskota. And I'd be like, that's not my name. It's Kirtana Banskota.
Kirtana.
Yeah.
So it's
the
the
choti iki
choti
matra.
iki matra.
Haan.
Okay, got it. We have our guest as Kirtana Banskota. I said it Kirtana Banskota. Please, guys, it's Kirtana Banskota.
So like in Nepali, we do.
Banskota.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like ba.
See, I'm learning.
Yeah. And it's not an easy name, right? So I always tell people, and even in the industry, when people misspell my name, that's something that does kind of get to me. So
Yeah.
I always say, this is my brand. It literally is. And this happens even in the Nepali, like a lot of Nepalis will do this, where they'll spell my name as B-A-S. And I'm going, that's not my name.
But
and
the
they're like,
thing-
it's the same thing. And I was like, no, it's not.
It's not. It's not.
It's like, my name is my name. It's
Yeah.
like you're saying Tom Cruise versus Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
वो तो खराब हो गया
हाँ,
ना.
वो खराब हो गया.
It's like Gucci versus Googie. Like
Yeah,
that's
Googie.
Exactly. I mean, come मानियो.
Oh my god.
वो तो brand को खराब मत करो. मैं literally my hair and my name is my brand.
Yeah. किसी ने मुझे so when I was not very familiar with all of these brands, somebody told me that it's CHANEL. I would say channel,
Huh?
right?
Yeah.
And I realized pretty late in my life that it is Chanel.
But that's also because it's French, right? So that's the problem.
Right, but you know, अब इंडिया में तो फ्रेंच सिखा नहीं रहे
Yeah.
हैं. हम तो CHANEL चैनल ही पढ़ते आए हैं
हाँ.
बचपन. अब हमको चैनल से Chanel जाने में टाइम लगेगा भाई.
Oh my God, you know, that was like cultural shock for me too. Like I'm coming from,
But you're born here, right?
yeah, I'm born here, but also going to Nepal, right? Or like Nepal was chill. Like no, it was my former
I mean,
years.
your diction is pretty American. Right now, whatever we have talked so
Yeah.
far, your English diction is very, very American because, again, you have lived here.
I think it's
and
like the. I mean, I think
School.
school. I mean, just growing up. But
Growing
then my
up, yeah,
Hindi is
yeah.
very. That's something I'm very specific about. I was like, मुझे हिंदी में मैं बात करती हूँ ना, I don't want accents.
हाँ.
When I speak in Nepali, I don't want an accent because
हाँ.
I want the Tate accent. That's what I mean.
मतलब अभी क्या होता है कि when I've been living here for 10 years.
Yeah.
तो जब मैं इंडिया जाती हूँ and when I'm talking in English, तो अब English यहाँ के जैसी थोड़ी बहुत निकलती
हाँ.
है. You know, you have this because you have been
You
told
start
so many
rolling
times
your
कि
R's because people are like, what are you saying?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
racing.
Yeah.
Right? आप जब इस तरीके से बात करते हो
हाँ.
तो वो आता है.
आता
अच्छा
है.
अब आप उसको छोड़ नहीं सकते मतलब आपको क्योंकि
But that's
अब आप
the way
constantly
because your tongue is a muscle.
yeah and I don't like sometimes you get confused यार
Oh gosh.
कि इंडिया में आप किसी को बोलो तो सामने वाला कहता है अमेरिका से आई है ना इसलिए इसलिए इतना टोन
No, but I will tell you a really funny story. That so without naming names, some of my friends in Delhi, when I was there, the first thing they go was like, "Paya chai dena." They've never left Delhi, by the way, okay? And then
Sorry, this is a Sodi thing.
Yeah, and I'm just
South
going-
Delhi is
very, and I'm just going, I didn't know. I left them after boarding school. I'm coming back from here. I'm going back to school. I mean, I used to be made fun of for my accent when I was in India, for sure. They were like, I'd say something. They're
like
like,
for example for sure.
for sure.
We have this habit of now saying for sure.
Yeah.
इंडिया में for sure यार.
Yeah, the
आप देख
yaar.
रहे हो? For
हाँ,
sure
nah,
यार.
हो जाएगा. But so when I go, they're going, "Bhaiya chai dena," and I'm just going, "Hey, bhaiya kya hota hai?" I was so confused, and I've got a very
God.
annoyingly expressive face.
So
okay?
I follow this.
Can you imagine?
Oh, absolutely.
And I was like, "Bhaiya," and then she's like, "You know, brother," and I'm just going, "You mean bhaiya?" So I became the fall of all of it.
Yeah. So my husband is from Delhi. So whenever we go, and we'll meet some of our friends from there, we would hear something like exactly the same thing. Bhaiya, please kari nikalna, and that will pinch you in your
Oh my
ears.
God, yes. And then I started
And-
making fun of it, and then all of a sudden I said, one day I was like, "Bhaiya," and I was like, "I can't make fun of this anymore. I'm gonna become this. I need to stop."
Yes. And there is a thing about Delhi. And like the South Bombay and South Delhi.
Oh,
There is
yeah.
a thing that, they don't care you are coming from America. Because,
No one
They,
cares.
they are already there.
Oh, they've been there.
They've been there.
to the moon and back.
Yes. So you'll see that. But I always, like, I have some friends who are like my core friends. And they then in front of them, अगर कभी गलती से, you're talking and अब जैसे talking.
हाँ.
India में we say talking.
हाँ.
We are talking. थोड़ा सा difference
हाँ,
होता है,
होता
right?
है.
And here we say talking.
Huh.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
this habit of saying
Yeah.
that. And you say, what's up? What's up?
But yeah, I know your friends are like the best part of you, right? Like I love that is that they're the only ones who make fun of you. I mean, granted, I grew up in a family with cousins that never denied me that ever. Anytime their mouth would open, any one of my uncles or aunts would have to just kind of shut it because they knew they were teasing me. But my friends, like they hold me real. I think because of that. I mean, I'm never gonna say bhaiya in my life. Hopefully.
And that is where my next question is coming to you. Like women leadership and women presence in the TV, media and film industry has majorly been on the acting side. Like you'll find not a lot of women
Yeah.
producing and directing films even now. What do you think? First question is, how do you think this perception is changing or this is progressing in terms of women leadership in the media and film industry? And the second is, how much do you think is a women community coming together and thriving together is important for filmmakers to give women chance to to, get into these different areas where, women have not trailblazed yet?
Yeah. So I'll go with the second question first. So like you mentioned, right, I'm on the board of Women in Film and Television Austin. There are 78 chapters, or I wouldn't say chapters, silos that individually work with each other, but we're all connected within the big umbrella of like Women in Film and Television International, where it's all about embracing and encouraging women or those that identify as women to follow their hearts in this path, be it editing, be it whatever else. So currently, I think Women in Film and Television has done incredible for me, where anytime I need help, I can go into the membership directory of 300 400 plus women and allies to find what I need. This year we had a panel for Nepal America International Film Festival, which was about women's impact in entertainment around the DMV area. I have nothing to do with the DMV area besides me starting the film festival there with my co-founders Purna and Kiran, and Melissa from the DMV, Women in Film and Video. She came through for us and she had these incredible things to say about the DMV space, which I had no idea about. But then when I reach out, they come through, and I have people from Viola Davis, who's in the LA Women in Film, and then you have people like Sybil, who's a producer, who's a part of Women NIWIFT, which is New York Women in Film and Television. You have all these women working in different countries and places, but the beauty about at least this network that I've happily stumbled into is that when I reach out for help, they're there. When we were filming in Ohio, we needed production assistants. I reached out to the Ohio Women in Film, and they were able to help guide me. So I think the one really incredible thing about women in this industry is that I think the idea that people have put in everyone's vision that women don't support women is a complete lie. Am I allowed to curse in this?
Yeah.
BS. Okay. So it's complete bullshit because it's not. I have never, ever not been on a set with women in it and not thrived. Like, for example, Love from Ellie, we're 3 women producers that met at Women in Film and Television, and our majority crew was women as well. And it was the most seamless filming, production, post-production we've ever gone through, because each one knows what each one needs, and each one's there
and
to
there were no cat fights, no
and there's
masala,
and I don't even know what cat fights are because I've never had them, And to me, that's like, who invented that? Whoever invented that was some random dog that was not happy. And
With
I
all
can't
the
even say that
cats.
because my dog and my cat get along really well together. So it's
Some
just
dog who was not happy with the cats.
Exactly. Maybe it's just saying, you know what, or some kind of envy, because women are really good at what they do. When they're focused, when they have opportunities, like one tiny door that's open for a man versus one tiny door that's open for a woman, that woman will go miles and miles to make things happen. The man's going to complain that the door is not open wide. Enough. So please, someone else open that door. And you see that in our industry a lot.
Yes, and recently we shared a snippet from Priyanka Chopra's one of the interview where she's talking about how feminism has been slut slammed.
Oh God.
And people
And how dare they?
Yeah, and people always think that feminism is all about hating men. No, dude, it's not.
No, it's just about getting your due. I've worked. So, now going back to your first question, right? Because I think that works really well here. You're right. There's a lot of actors that are women that identify as female and that have been in the industry for a while, but directors and producers have not gotten their due. There are a lot of women producers, specifically in the independent world. There are a lot of women producers.
Yeah.
And they make incredible films. Why aren't they being sold? Why aren't they getting their due? Right? So that's a question that the current now generation of filmmakers have started raising. In film festivals, it's important to have women blocks. We've not reached that point yet. We're striving, we're trying to get there, but how many head of studios are women right now?
Yeah.
Be it India or be it here or be it anywhere in the world. And if they are, how much extra work did they have to put in to make that happen?
Yeah.
Also, as producers, how many times did women have to bite their tongue because you were the only woman in the room?
And how many times you have to break those glass ceilings?
Oh
because,
my God.
you
I'm so sick and tired of what is this a glass ceiling anyway?
Yeah.
I
mean, we have created it. We
yeah.
have it. We say that it's, sometimes a lot of women would say that it never existed, but I would say that it's there. A script screen
there.
is there.
It's there.
And you need to, when we talk,
Acknowledge it, right?
Yeah, you need to acknowledge it and move forward it.
And also, there's another aspect of women, and then there's women of color.
Yeah.
That becomes another big conversation. Like, why is it that a Chloe Zhao and a Ava DuVernay are the first people that are making marks here? Why is it that you needed a Priyanka Chopra who'd won Miss World, had to like prove herself by doing hundreds of movies before she could even like make it to Hollywood? And even then, she's constantly criticized for being who she is,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Because what she does. I mean, I'm
Because
just
of-
like, to me, that's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because why is it that our gender is the thing that is being judged and scrutinized? Why isn't it the talent? Because I know a lot of women makers that are a lot more talented than a lot of men makers, yet they've made it. And then sometimes you watch all these weird movies and then you realize, why was that given funding and not this film given funding? But, you know, when you start seeing women like Ava, for example, who's done incredible things, and Tia, who is a director producer who also was at our panel, who won the presidential life achievement award
Oh, wow.
recently. You see these women of color that are making a mark, that are actually creating a platform, that are talking about it, that are telling everyone that there is no more apologizing for who you are. That's just encouraging. I'm like, that's why I'm very, very proud of saying I'm Nepali. Like, anytime someone's saying, no, but you're American, I was like, no, I'm first Nepali. That's me. That, yes, I was born here. That does not define the fact that I'm, you know, everything that I am is because of my parents and my family. And I think that becomes prevalent. So when these studios are being open, I'm working on my own studio. I want it to be women-based. I want it to be gender non-biased. I want it to be gender non-conforming, because what women have to endure, imagine someone who's trying to transition has to endure. And then as filmmakers, if we're not talking about it, if we're not advocating for that, then what kind of creative platform are we at? And I get a lot of flack for things like that, but honestly, I'm pretty thick-skinned about it. I'm like, I don't care. You can say whatever you want, because at the end of the day, I know what I'm doing. I know people are happy. I know as long as people are able to live and love and be okay with doing what they want to do, what do I care what happens, you know? And I think people need to just get over their high horses sometimes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was intense.
I know. I can sometimes get intense too.
Yes, that was it. But that was inspiring again.
Thank you.
It was very deep once again. We are coming closer to the end of the podcast, and I have a last few questions for you. First, do you believe in manifestation?
Always.
Do you think that you have manifested about whatever you're doing long back and it's coming true?
I think I would say this, like, and this is something that I heard what Matthew McConaughey said that like really stuck with me, was that, you know, 20-year-old him had a vision about him being today, but today he has a different vision of him wanting to be tomorrow. So I think my manifestation usually always is, I don't think I'm ever satisfied, which is a good and a bad thing, but I think my love for nature and the fact that I need to be grounded helps me stay steady. But no, what I manifested like 10 years ago maybe came through sometime, but then every day it evolves. So I have no idea at this point. I just am manifesting another puppy. Like at this point, I want another puppy. I want kittens. I think that's what I'm manifesting.
That was going to be my second question. That what are you manifesting right now? And it's another puppy. Okay, that's good.
And then I want, you know, of course, all these films that I'm working on to have some shelf life for sure, like a good life cycle, because like we talked about, right? It's a film is a lot of people's dreams come through, and so many times these are dreams that their names might not be stamped on it and might not be highlighted in like big neon colors, but at the end of the day, they're putting their hearts and soul into it because they really believe in this and they really want to do this. No one just does 12 hours of manual labor for fun, like you know, being out in the heat.
You have to be passionate.
Oh
about
God,
it.
you have to. If you're not passionate about this industry, there's no business being in it. Honestly.
Yeah.
If we see, and that happens when you're filming in old homes, right? If you see a clogged drain, or if you see something, don't expect a PA to do it. Do it yourself. If you're idle hands, no big deal. You can do it. You're not above anyone or anyone there. It's a passion project. Like, get it done, get everyone happy, finish it, let's move on.
Do you continue to see yourself as an independent filmmaker, or you ever want to get into the business of actual Hollywood feature films? eventually.
Possibly. So, yes, I love indie. It's great, but it also breaks my back all the time because you're wearing so many hats, right? But I think it's always it is a great question
Okay.
because the other part is you might have realized that I'm pretty marzi ka malik. You know, I kind of like to do things my way and not necessarily when you're working in big budget studios do you get to
that.
have that. But again, then, you know, when you think about it, then someone like Martin Scorsese does not really he does his own thing, but he had to earn it to be that, right?
Yeah.
So like Hollywood or studio does not dictate what he has to do. He just does his own thing. So we'll see. I mean, maybe I'll just open my own studio and just tell myself what to do.
That's good. That's good. A lot of our listeners, are going to be interested in knowing, in how can they be part of your independent film or a feature film, and how can they be part of your crew or the cast?
Yeah.
How do they approach you? How do they connect with you? Because I know you are pretty busy. You don't see your DMs pretty often.
Yeah.
So how can an aspiring artist connect with you?
So I have a lot of interns now that we work with. And I like to work with interns because every semester you're giving them whatever they need, and then you move on, including we give partner with universities, so that helps. So I mean, I'm pretty omnipresent in all of social media. Me personally, I think LinkedIn is, if you want to get in touch with me, LinkedIn is great. I enjoy it because Insta you lose a lot, right? It's there's so much happening. Yes, we're posting things, but usually, and especially my personal is open to public too. But my Banskota Productions one is pretty available for people if you're in the DMV area, like the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and if you want to get involved in the Nepal America Film Society, the festival, then we have an incredible team now that are all volunteers that are, spending time and energy and just are dedicated to just making this bigger and brighter. They take care of that, so it's
And you're
kind of
not
nice.
looking only for the Nepali.
No. Everyone. We want, because it is an international festival and it is a society. It's just about bridging the gap and the fact that, we want at least the baseline to be a Nepali voice, because I think that does become, like you said, right? Because as South Asians, we're doctors, we're engineers, we're all of this, but in the media, we need more voices. And, when you're only very selective few, female in the industry, definitely need more of that. But pretty omnipresent in social media, honestly. If you just go to my website, someone's going to respond. Usually, possibly me. I try. It might be a little delayed, but if I'm this week, I will respond.
Got it. Got it. As you know, most of our guests have been women.
Yes.
And our goal has been to promote South Asian women voices and the he for she voices.
Yes.
What do you think about the Girl Next Door and idea?
I think it's incredible because, so the first time, I'll talk about Girl Next Door second, and then I'll talk about Idea first. I came to Idea in March, right before South by last year, 2023. So it was I think the first week of March or the last week of February, something around that time. When I walked in, I didn't know
It was right after the Women's Day.
Yeah. And I was I did not know what to expect, right? Because I walked in, and because I'd been to Desi events before here, and they're very community-based, they're very fun. But when I walked in, and after the panel, just a conversation that opened up, and it was these vulnerable conversations where vulnerability became the strength, which actually kind of inspired me a lot, because there were women talking about IVF, there were women talking about, being alone, women talking about mental health. And in a matter of just an hour, there was so much information that was out of how people were just introducing themselves. But after introduction, just being comfortable to share that is very important. And I think vulnerability, as for women, is our strength. I mean, it took me forever to learn, and honestly, I'm still learning because I am not a very vulnerable person and my guards are pretty high up usually. But I think with Idea, that was very, very inspiring. And I think I want Idea to grow to a space where you're working with places like AFSA, and you're working with other organizations where it's really encouraging women to just be a part of something bigger and be comfortable, right? Have a sisterhood. I mean, for me, women in film and television became my sisterhood for my industry, because my industry can be very brutal to women. And we have something called Brave Conversations that is exactly like what you all do. And then I think taking that heaviness and that amazingness and bringing Girl Next Door here, where you're let's just bring everyone and just put them on a chairs, make them sit like this, just let them just word bomb it, all cool. I think it's such a great idea, because I think, and kudos to you, for jumping into your dream, because I think that's pretty remarkable.
I'm really happy. I'm in my happiest zone when I'm sitting on this chair and I have
I
a
love
guest
green,
in front of
so
me.
this works.
This has actually become my happy place. I've shot more than, like, I've recorded more than 20-25 episodes, and I have never felt
Like you're working.
yeah, and I've never felt I'm working. I've never felt bored. I have never followed the script.
You don't.
Like, because
yeah. Because it's a conversation.
it's a
right? Yeah.
conversation, and this is what I wanted. I want women to come and talk about anything and everything, and you know, the conversation takes its own direction on its own.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it, and I'm loving it. And thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
This
you
was fun.
for being open about it,
Yes.
and being honest, and being candid, and
No
sharing
other
your-
way. There's no other way.
The Keertana I know, this time I pronounced it
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
I have enjoyed every bit of it. So thank you
you.
so much. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. I am Snehakashyapthakur, and this is Kirtana Banskota from the Banskota Production. And we had an amazing time today. And I hope you guys who are listening in had an amazing time today as well. If you have anything to share, any feedback, please leave us a comment. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe us, because those are the things which tells us that we are doing good, we are doing the right thing. So please do that. Support always helps. And remember, The Girl Next Door is a platform जहां हम बातें करते हैं दिल से दिल तक. This is a place where we share stories and celebrate life. Thank you so much. This is your host Snehakashyapthakur and your girl next door signing off for today.